Like you have to you got to confront that in yourself as to why would my kid be safest at home? Why would my kid learn the best at home? Like what issues or what problems or failures do I have in myself or in that of my wife that I believe that despite being the two people who should have my kids' best interests at heart, that we are unable to facilitate education.
Welcome to Plan, Prep, Pray. Hey girlie, my name is Wendy and I am a homeschooling mom of 4 little ones, and on this channel I talk about all things homeschooling, home management, kids empowerment, and mommy self-care. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.
I don't get an introduction.
This is my hubby. He is, what are you, baby?
I don't know. What am I?
He is a Pisces. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a Pisces. What do you call it? Gemini. No. I'm not good with science, but he's one of the good ones, one of the good signs. Right, baby? As you can tell, he loves being in front of the camera. Just kidding. He's more of the videographer, photographer type, right? Yeah, just keep
strong,
smiling.
silent type.
Strong, silent type. That's right, baby.
This video is going to be really interesting.
Really. Because you ain't going to say nothing. All right, perfect. Before we get started and I get started on these questions that I'm going to ask him, let me go ahead and give a shout out to Tiffany for hosting this collab. This is going to be so much fun. Please check out the playlist down below, as well as specifically Tiffany's dad questions that she does with her hubby. It's going to be very interesting to see what all these dads have to say about homeschooling. So definitely check out the playlist, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what all these homeschooling dads have to say.
Interested to see Tiffany's page. 9 kids and counting to what?
I'm telling.
I think we should stop counting after 9.
But baby, remember, 12 kids. Max.
You can go live with Tiffany.
Tiffany, I'm coming, girl. I'm coming. All right. Let's start out with an easy question. All right? If I can find the questions.
So everybody understand that this is not rehearsed.
It sure ain't.
I don't know these questions, and you will be truly surprised by the answers that you get.
Nothing but genuine, right, baby?
Nothing but genuine.
Love it.
It's very professional right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Finding a question.
I wasn't ready. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Go.
So, how long has your family been homeschooling?
My family's been homeschooling about, my oldest child is 9, so I'm gonna go with 9 years. Safe answer.
That's it. Straight from the womb, he came out and we started homeschooling him.
Never too young to start educating your kids.
100% agree. Good one, baby, good one. Keep up the good work. So, before you ever considered homeschooling, what was your opinion of it?
Well, I had a very negative view of homeschooling, and I think it's born out of ignorance. I had these stereotypical perceptions of like homeschool kids that you see on TV and different things, right? So I was wholly against homeschooling. I did not want to homeschool at all. I thought homeschool kids were antisocial. I thought they were weird. I thought they had problems adjusting. I thought that they were sheltered. I kind of thought that all homeschool kids looked alike and didn't really look like us. So I didn't really...
What do you mean by that, baby?
I really didn't think that people of our particular hue homeschooled. So I thought that was just a particular segment of the population who homeschooled, and they really didn't want to commingle with everybody, and so they decided to keep their kids at home and homeschool. So again, my views have really radically adjusted because of just the experience of being open-minded to homeschooling.
Oh, baby. So, did you have any reservations about homeschooling before you started?
I thought you were going to make my kids weird. I thought the kids would be weird. Again, every stereotypical thing that we could imagine about homeschooling is what I thought would happen to my kids. I thought my kids wouldn't make friends. I thought they wouldn't be ready for the real world. I thought that they would just know just what's in their home and what's in their immediate area, and they wouldn't be able to adjust when they got outside. So reservations galore. I had all kind of reservations. Like I wanted my kids to play sports. I wanted them to be, the same things that I had growing up, I wanted for my kids, just minus the struggle.
Facts. So, what benefits do you see with homeschooling?
I know a lot of dads in here are going to say the amazing educational benefits associated with homeschooling, which there are, right? But I truly believe that with me and you and the dedication that we have to our kids, that our kids will be successful in any environment. If I put them in public school, private school, homeschool, wherever they're going to be, just how dedicated we are with education and attention to detail that we have, that we would propel our kids and we could help them and they can push through and succeed in any environment. So the thing that I notice more, or that I see, is I see the pride and I want to say professionalism in the way that you approach their education. So the greatest growth that I see that may be different if my kids weren't homeschooled is in you, my wife, right? So I noticed that if I look at my kids, almost everything that they know is because of you. And I see the pride that you take in that and the ability to teach them and for them to learn new things and for you to grow, and then the experience that you have bonding with them and creating all these things and doing all these different things. And I see the tremendous growth in you and in the relationship that you have with our children.
And you, baby.
Not so much. You do most of the heavy lifting.
So, do you teach anything to your children? And if so, what?
I think I teach through life experience, but I think most of the hard things my wife teaches, right? So all the English, the math, the science, and all that stuff. So I come in as fun dad. I come in with the art and music and my corny dancing. I can't really dance. And so I come in with all those fun things. And so those are the things I get to do with my kids. I don't really consider it teaching, but more so hanging out with my kids and having fun, right? So all the things that are difficult that they don't really want to do, my wife handles those things. And so I get to be the fun dad, the fun guy who comes in and does all the fun things.
Yeah, but baby, they learn the most through play.
So I'll take most of the credit for their education. I am the sole reason for any and all success that my kids have.
That's it.
Not my wife.
That's it, baby. Own it. Own it. So, what role do you play in homeschooling and how do you support your wife?
So I think that as a homeschool dad, and just any dad and any husband in any situation in a fully functioning, healthy relationship, right? You have to support your partner on multiple levels, right? So I think financial support is a big thing because they don't give the bold and the beautiful curriculum printed in color for free.
It's not the bold and the beautiful. The good and the beautiful.
Good and the beautiful. Okay, so I don't teach language arts again. So all these curriculums, they're not free. So I think financially, I'm able to support. And I don't discount that because that we're in a position where we're able to homeschool, and we're blessed to be in such a position where I can financially support my wife and our family, so that way we can live the way we want to live instead of having to live the way we have to live. So we can prioritize things such as educating our kids, and my wife being able to stay home and nurture and rear our kids the way that we deem fit. I think next I have to support emotionally. It's hard. It's difficult because these kids don't leave.
They don't leave.
They're here all the time. And so emotionally, being such a perfectionist, it wears and it takes a toll. And so I have to be there to support and lift when things don't go exactly right. And some days when things fall apart, I have to be there to be like, look, forget it. Put the books away. Dance party. Let's do something cool. Let's do something fun. I think also in times of like support and giving her a break. And so I think those things are really important for her to come in and then just be a support and to be someone that can buoy and lift her up when things aren't going right.
100%. He's my backbone. He's the reason why I can do all this and and thrive in this, because I get a break every day. Every day he comes, he takes the kids so that, you know, I can get my break. So I appreciate you, baby.
I appreciate me too.
I can't.
I'm so awesome.
I thought you didn't like being in front of the camera.
I don't.
So, what would you say? Oh, no. Did I ask you, would you ever put your children in public school?
Yes, I would.
What would be the circumstance?
I am very protective of my wife. So I think that if the situation was something that became unhealthy, obsessive, and it took away from our family. Right now, homeschooling adds to our family. It adds to the dynamic. It benefits us. It fits our life, and it's how I wanted to live. I wanted to have my wife at home. I wanted my kids to see their mom. I like the way our life is, right? But if that homeschooling is not my family and it's not my life, right? So if those things suffered as a result of homeschool and I needed to put my kids in school, I'd put my kids in school, because again, I don't think that homeschooling is the be all end all. So our family dynamic, our relationship, and everything else is more important. But luckily, homeschooling is conducive to that, and it fits in there, and that's beneficial to our life. So again, I feel like good parents in a healthy, stable relationship, who are singularly focused and have a goal to propel their kids towards success, their kids can thrive in any environment. Right? I think homeschooling, based on my experience now, is ideal because we have a 1-to-1, or in our case, a 1-to-4 teacher-student ratio, right? That beats any school that's 18-to-1 or 30-to-1. So that's beneficial to us. But if it came to a place where you couldn't handle it, or it was too much, or it was overwhelming, and you were stressed, and you were this, that, like, our relationship and our marriage and our family and the dynamic and those things are more important than us sticking to an ideal or a principle that wasn't working for us. So if it wasn't working for us, then it's not working for us, and it's time to do something else.
So, this is not one of the questions, but do you feel as if we are called to homeschool, or that God has led us to homeschool?
I think there is something to say about that, because I was so adamant that we weren't going to homeschool. So it had to be something outside of me and you to then convince me to say, like, this is actually what I wanted, right? So I don't see calling as the main influence, because for me it's a logical thing. Where can my kids get the best education? Where can they get the most attention? Where can they be put in a position where they can succeed? Where would we have more influence and say-so over what my kids are learning, how they're learning? How can we exert maximum influence in our kids so that way they can become the people that we would like to see them become, without any outside influences, or, not without any outside influence, but for us to have the ability to parent
to be
those
the
influences.
primary influence.
So I think we can be the primary, irrespective of where they are. But there's so many things that happen outside that we don't get a chance to rebuff or rebuttal, right? Like, so we don't have an opportunity to say, yeah, that thing that you saw today, things like that happen, but here is the opposite side. So instead of them going out and then they internalize those things and then they think things, because they're great at perceiving things, but they're not good at interpreting what happens? So my 8-year-old goes outside and sees something negative. Now he internalizes that thing that he observed, but then he doesn't have the wherewithal to analyze it. You know, and then I have the ability to say, look, yes, I know you perceive that thing, but here is the backstory. Here's how you can then apply that.
Last question. What would you say to the man who is unsure, on the fence about homeschooling?
I would say, why did you read that question?
Okay, I'll say it again. So, what would you say to the man who is unsure or on the fence about homeschooling?
In a situation like that, if I were to have a conversation with a man who was unsure about homeschooling, I probably would tell him to analyze why is he so adamant against homeschooling. Why not be open-minded to putting your kid in the best situation possible? Why not be open-minded to being the primary influence on your child, right? So I think that there are a lot of factors to then consider to figure out like what biases that you have. Because I think our main goal as parents is to give our kids a better life than we had, right? So we can look at our public school experience and then we can see, man, I had so many jacked up experiences in public school, right? And so I think what ends up happening is that we then attribute those experiences to making us who we are today, which is we are some of all the things that happen to us in our lives, right? But as parents, our goals are to try to have our kids or propel our kids to have a better life than we ourselves had. And so if I look at that just from that simple goal and from that simple standpoint, you want your kid to have a better life, better education, better things than you had. And so homeschooling is a natural vehicle by which you can have that. You can be the primary influence on your child. You can be assured that, you know, that they will get the best possible education because you'd be the one educating them. You can pick the curriculum, you can drive the direction, you can put the focus, you can do all these things. I like the idea, it was floated to me when you floated the idea is that you can read about the Grand Canyon in a book, or you can teach your kid at home and then you jump in an RV and drive to the Grand Canyon.
That's it.
Right? So like
that's what
what's the like, so why wouldn't I want my kid to have that? Why wouldn't I want my kid to have the ability to say, you know what? Field trip to the Grand Canyon.
That's it.
Field trip, we're learning about animals. So, hey, field trip to the zoo. Pack up, go to the zoo. Right? So those are just amazing things that I think.
Or even more so, baby, even teaching your kids about things that you didn't get a chance to learn. Finances.
Yes.
You know, how to play the piano. You know, these different types of things, different languages, but like maybe even absorbing yourself within the language, immersing.
These are dad questions.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Dad questions.
Go ahead. Go
right.
ahead. Baby,
So,
you was killing it. You doing good. Go ahead, baby, go.
All right, so I would say in that vein as well, that when you ask yourself those questions, and you ask yourself like, why am I so against homeschooling, right? I think that like you have to then try to consider as to why wouldn't you think your home would be the best place for your kid to learn?
That's powerful, babe.
Right? Like you have to you got to confront that in yourself as to why would my kid be safest at home? Why would my kid learn the best at home? Like what issues or what problems or failures do I have in myself or in that of my wife that I believe that despite being the two people who should have my kids' best interests at heart, that we are unable to facilitate education. Yeah. And we have to then leave that up to strangers. Not saying that there's anything bad with a public school education. I'm very adamant in the fact that our kids would succeed irrespective of being at home or at school. But I do then also say that no one's going to care about my kid more than I am or be more vested in their education than me. And so what I would say to that homeschool dad is that if you don't believe that your home is the safest and best place for your kid to learn, then you have bigger issues than homeschooling. I think there are other things that you need to concern yourself with in your own home in order to make it a place where you think that your kid can be safe and learn.
And that's that. So ladies, let me know. And gentlemen, oh, I just left you guys out. I just left you guys out. It's time for me to go to sleep. No, it's not. I just left you guys out. Comment down below. Let me know. How did he do? Shoot him some hearts. I think he killed it, but I'm a little biased. So let me know down below. And check out the playlist of all the other homeschool dads. See what they have to say. I think it's very amazing and interesting to get a man's perspective on things. So check it out. I'm sure you'll love it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah.
That's serious.